Well, hello, everybody. My name is Melissa Mazor, and I am a nurse scientist in the Community Outreach and Engagement Program at the Tisch Cancer Institute. And I am so delighted to be with all of you today. So to start, if we can go around and please introduce yourself and provide just a very brief background about yourself and your role in cancer care.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christian Rolfo. I'm a professor in medicine at the Sinai Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, and I'm the Associate Director for Clinical Research at the Center of Thoracic Oncology. My focus of interest is cancer care for thoracic oncology patients, and also specifically, I'm working in drug development and biomarkers in liquid biopsy.
Hi, I'm Dolores Moorehead, and I work for the Women's Cancer Resource Center, where I am a Community Engagement Director and Client Support Clinician. And what that includes is I provide patient navigation to our clients that we serve. I also provide therapy to them and lead support groups and work with different researchers around the needs of diverse populations.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lavern McDonald, and I'm a community scientist for the Icahn School Mount Sinai Project. I'm also a social studies teacher at a small independent school in Manhattan, and I was diagnosed with lung cancer in 2018.
What are your thoughts around, some ways that we can also overcome some of these barriers, specifically for clinical trial awareness and diversity?
For us, we really try to do community dialogues, and that's where we invite the person and their family members to hear from a researcher, to hear from a doctor, because I think it's also, when we look at some of the historical perspectives, that a patient may want to do a clinical trial, and yet the family, if they don't understand, can have a large impact on that decision, and they speak not knowing facts, but knowing what's been passed down. And when they do, all of a sudden, that patient that I've experienced was very excited about a clinical trial, now says to me, I don't think I want to do that. And then it means I'm there trying to unpack and peel back the onion around what happened, where often doctors may feel like it's the patient's decision. But in families where it's relational, it's not individual, it is not the patient's decision. It is going to be a decision the family makes, and making sure that education, that the family's invited into the educational component.
And Dr. Rolfo, from the clinician and the researcher hat, what are your thoughts on some of these challenges and thinking about some of these creative ideas of working with patients and families and pastors and communities, to overcome some barriers in clinical trial awareness and participation?
Yeah, I think that we was discussing today not to engage the family, and Ms. Moorehead was bringing this point. I think it's very important. What I personally do is try to get my time with the family and with the patients in separate ways. And I when I meet the patient for first time, I say, look, we want to have an open discussion always. So I want that you have the freedom to discuss with me alone without your family, but your family also have the space to discuss with me alone, because sometimes, the patients is afraid to ask questions because the family is there, and the family is also doing the same. So we create a barrier inside this internal communication in the families with the patients, because they are really afraid to hurt. So I think this is important, that we have a free space to communicate with the patients and the teams and the family and the teams. And like Ms. Moorehead say, several times the families are taking decisions together. So it's really important that you identify one. As a doctor, we try to identify one person who is the one that is the point of contact, because sometimes it's difficult with big families to have communications. It's difficult to handle. So that's, I think, is one of the things. And then also important, like I say, clinical trial participation is depending, especially in education of the patients. So if we need to have, and you say we have clinical days that are really busy, but we have team dedicated to that. And if we need to have, I say to my patients, You will receive today a lot of information. Write, bring at home all the papers. This is the website that you need to consult, because sometimes when we Google things are very scary for patients and families. So have resources that the patients can be educated even at home, and then back with the questions. That is improving a lot the participation in clinical trials. And then from companies that are also sponsor of these clinical trials, they need to be aware about all these diversity in population, and it's something that is regulators like FDA are more and more attentive to give in these disparities into the clinical trials, because it's reflecting what is really is happening in the real world when we have a drug that is approved in several diseases.